everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa and today I am going to be doing a makeup look using OG makeup products that YouTubers talked about a lot that when I first started watching YouTube. And I started watching, I want to say 2015. I made a YouTube account in 2016 and I started uploading, I don't know, I started uploading when I was 35, so about 2 years I've been uploading videos. But these products were highly talked about, like everyone was talking about them, like they were the holy grails, they were the best products. And of course I bought a lot of them, and a lot of them are really old, but hopefully I don't, break out from using this stuff. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. I was inspired by Emily Noel 83. She recently just did a video using OG makeup products. And when I watched it, my brain, was just thinking of all the products I bought. And they are different than hers. But yeah, I thought this would be fun. And I know I look kind of crazy right now. I did put some self-tanner on, and I had a self-tanner disaster. Like my hands, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with it, whatever. But okay guys, let's get into this video. So for primer, it is the Too Faced Hangover. Everyone was talking about this when I first got YouTube. This is my first bottle that I owned, and I got it in a BoxyCharm. I did not purchase it, but my friend Sarah did, and it's still her holy grail. It is just like a moisturizer, a moisturizing primer. And it has like a light coconut smell. And the whole idea of this, if you're hungover and you're dehydrated and you need some extra boost, this is the primer for you. And I think it's a nice moisturizing primer. Okay, for foundation, I have this old one. It is almost gone. It is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer, and I have mine in the shade 01 Creamy Vanilla. I do believe they came out the lighter shade than this since then, but this was the lightest shade in the line, and it is pretty dark for being the lightest shade. And this is a matte, full coverage, like cake face foundation. This is what was popular when I first started watching YouTube. Like, you wanted nothing to show through. You wanted that like perfect skin. And I remember thinking, like, this isn't that great when I bought it. Like, it was so hyped about and everyone loved it, and I don't know, I just wasn't that into it. And it's very yellow, and I don't think I'll need to use this today, but the LA Girl Pro Coverage, this is illuminating foundation, and this was the white one, so you can mix into, foundations that were too dark. And the foundation in this line was also really hyped about, and I remember trying it and it was very dewy, and I did not like it. I ended up using it all up, but that was super hyped as well. I remember Carly Bible hyped that up. Okay, so I'm gonna blend that in, and I'm using a sponge to try to shear it out a little, because this is a thick foundation. And I'm sure most of us, if we've been on YouTube for a while, have tried this foundation. I don't know, was this your holy grail foundation, or were you like me and weren't really a huge fan of it? The sponge helped shear it out, but it doesn't look too bad actually with the sponge. So, okay. For concealer, everyone was talking about the Maybelline Age Rewind. I have the brightener shade, so this is like a color correcting shade, but I did have a light shade, I want to say, back in the day, but I did use it up. But yeah, this is still, I think, a good concealer. I'm just going to do a little highlighting, because highlighting contour was a huge thing. And I'm going to use my Wet n Wild foundation brush and pat that into the skin. and having really bright under eyes, yeah, like highlighting, contour, and really bright under eyes was huge. Now I feel like people are doing more sheer looks and they're using concealers more closer to their skin tone. They're not having that really bright white under eye. Okay, so I'm brightened up. Now, like I was saying, people were doing like the contour sticks. I have this one from Wet n Wild. I don't know if this product was super hyped, but this is one I have. It has the highlight side, which is really light. And we have the contour side. And this product is more dry, but I always liked it. I like the tone of this one. It's more cool. But yeah, everyone, you know, really did the contour. And I mean, people still do. I still enjoy cream contouring. Like I love my Huda Beauty Tantour. So I still enjoy it, but the contour sticks were really huge. And for powder, this is the oldest powder in my collection. I actually bought this before I got into YouTube and like, you know, buying products based on YouTube recommendations. This is the NYC Smooth Skin Press Face Powder. I don't know, this brand is no longer around, but everyone was talking about this brand. It was super popular. I remember their bronzers were highly talked about, their liquid liners. I have used quite a bit of this product. I haven't used it in a long time, so hopefully all goes well. I did smell it. It smelled fine. It has like a flowery like makeup smell, but nothing rancid or anything. And heavily powdered face was definitely a trend, like the baking and the loose powder. But this is definitely my oldest powder, and yeah, this brand was hyped up and talked about. It's kind of a shame that they discontinued the brand, but you know, there's so much competition now. It's kind of hard. But this was an affordable brand. It was like comparable to Wet n Wild. I brought out two like bronzing products. I have the Hoola, Benefit Hoola. This is the mini size. And I also brought out my Too Faced contour palette. This is in light and medium. And then I have, like I said, the Benefit Hoola. I think I'm going to use the Benefit Hoola. Everyone was talking about it. I did buy the mini because it was a little more affordable. It was, what was it, like $15 for the mini, and the box packaging is kind of tricky because you can't really fit a lot of brushes into it. I mean, it is a nice bronzer, but I just remember everyone like saying you had to have it. It was the best. Along with like Benefit's box blushes, which I never bought. I mean, Benefit is still a pretty popular brand, I feel like, but their makeup releases don't excite me. I feel like they recycle the same products over and over again. Like, they just came out with a Hoola face palette, and it's like products that, I don't know, it's nothing new. They don't have any eyeshadow palettes, I feel, or if they do, I don't remember. Maybe they had it a long time ago, but it's all about their mascaras, their brow products, and like the box blushes and bronzers and the highlights. But I don't know, it's just the same products over and over again. And I'm going to dip into this and take the lightest shade, and I'm just going to highlight with the powder. There is an updated contour palette from Too Faced. I own that as well. But yeah, I'm definitely very matte, but my skin looks good so far. So, and for blush, these Wet n Wild blushes were raved about. I have this in apricot in the middle, And these blushes have like a sheen to them. And they're really pigmented, really pretty. I'm gonna use this brush. I forgot to bring my blush brush. But yeah, they're good blushes. I believe Wet n Wild, you know, phase these types of blushes out. They have like circle blushes now. I don't know the quality of those, but these were great. I know people are finding these at the Dollar Tree, but it's just glowy. It's like a highlighting blush, but yeah, I mean, it still works really good. I actually pulled out my Milani Romantic Rose blush I was going to use in this video, and I was doing swatches and I was getting no pigment, and I pressed too hard and the whole thing crumbled. So that went into my empties bin, but that was super hyped as well. And for highlighter, another Wet n Wild product is the Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in Precious Petals. This was talked about like crazy. It is a very, very glowy highlight. Like, it is beautiful though. It has a beautiful sheen, but you're gonna be blinding. And that was the trend back then, like blinding highlighter. Everyone loved to be, you know, glowing to the gods. You wanted to be seen from outer space. You would use very, very matte foundation and heavily powder our faces, and then just bring back the glow and highlight everywhere, even on the chin. I don't have a super old like setting spray or one that was around when I first started watching YouTube, but I know the MAC setting spray. Oh, I can't even think of what it's called. What else is popular? The Urban Decay All Nighter, which is still pretty popular. But I'm just going to use my e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Spray. It's kind of funny, when I first started watching YouTube, I'm like, they're setting their face, they're spraying their face. And like, I thought it was so cool. And I bought like a setting spray, and I just remember it was so awkward spraying like a mist on my face. But you get used to it. I just remember like closing my eyes really, and like, I don't know. It was just like a really uncomfortable feeling at first. For brows, when I first started, it was the Real Sculpted, you know, Instagram brows, really popular. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to use my Benefit Give Me Brow. Benefit brow products were super popular. So was Anastasia Beverly Hills, and both products, honestly, are still popular. But I'm just going to comb in some brow gel and just call it a day. For eyeshadow palettes, I pulled out two. So I have the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar. I never owned the original, but the original chocolate bar was like the most hyped up eyeshadow palette when I first started watching YouTube. And then this, for affordable options, was the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone. This was super talked about. This Comfort Zone only has like satin shades. There's no matte shades. There's no like real shimmer shades. Well, kind of. But no, they're all like kind of satin. They all have shimmer in them, but I don't know. Yeah, so this is an original old one. And you guys remember this shade right here? It was called the Definer shade. Everyone talked about this shade, and so many brands duped this. Really cool. Everyone loved it. And my semi-sweet. I actually found this at Marshall's like a couple years ago, but I'm gonna do a mixture of both just because, yeah, the Wet n Wild doesn't have like true mattes in it. So I am gonna go into the coconut cream, just a matte setting or a matte shadow, and set my lids. This palette, the Semi-Sweet, is actually my friend Sarah's first high-end eyeshadow palette, and mine was the Too Faced Bon Bon. And for my crease, I'm going to go in with mousse, because that's what they taught you back then. You had to use like a neutral brown in your crease. No matter what look you were doing, you had to use a crease shade. I've learned since then you could use whatever shade you want, and you don't have to start with doing a crease shade. And they used to build up so many mattes. we're gonna go in with truffled, a little bit deeper brown. Like they would just build, I mean, remember like the makeup looks had like, I don't know, like 5 different mattes built up into the crease. It still smells like chocolate. Okay, so now we're gonna play with this one. And I'm going to do it in the order that it says. And I'm gonna use this fun side with the more like the green color. And I'm gonna go in the brow bone first and put that in my brow bone. The quality of these Wet n Wild shadows are really nice. They're really creamy. And this palette is so old and it's still really nice. But yeah, everyone put like a super blinding highlight in the brow bone. Like sometimes I'll still do it, but honestly, I don't really highlight my brow bone in inner corners that much anymore. And we'll put that in the corner now that I thought about it. Okay, now we're gonna go with the eyelid shade, this pretty green, and I'll focus it in the inner part. It still has pigment to it, you know, being an older shadow. Eyeshadow palette's still working pretty good. I am getting a little fallout, but I mean, these shadows were really good for being at the drugstore. And at the time, I want to say drugstore wasn't coming out with really good quality stuff at the time. So everyone loved this because it was, you know, good quality. Now the drugstore has amazing shadows. Okay, now we have this shade which says crease. I don't know if I want to put that in my crease. It's like a black, like a dark color with glitter in it. Maybe I'll just pat it in my outer corner. Yeah, I don't want that in my crease. Still good quality. And then we're gonna go in the definer shade. And I guess they meant like, you know, defining your lashes, but this is that cool brown green. I'm gonna pat it on the center. Back then, I would have thought these were like wild, crazy colors, but now it's kind of neutral. I'm gonna go on this side and use this definer shade, this brown, and take a small brush and line my lower lash line. And everyone used to really smoke out their lower lash line. Like I still do put like putting shadow under there, but yeah, it was really smoked out, and anything you did to the top, you had to do to the bottom. So if you use 5 mattes on the top, you would use 5 mattes in the bottom. I'm not gonna do all that. And then I wanna take this brown matte that I used in my crease and buff it out. A smoky lash line. I do know Wet n Wild did do an updated version of this palette. This original palette is no longer available, but it is updated. It is a little bit of a different formula, but it's still pretty good. So for liquid liner, everyone talked about the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper Black. I have this one. It is a dagger one. It's still the formula, but the brush tip is a little bit slanted, so it's not exactly the same, but everyone talked about it. You know, it was the mattest, blackest eyeliner, and that's what you wanted in a liquid liner. You wanted it to be matte and really black. So I did have a little hard time using it just because it has that slant in it. And people used to do like really big wings. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not very good at doing wings, but it is a really black matte liner. Okay, now for mascara, I don't have anything that came out back then. I know Too Faced Better Than Sex was a really, really popular mascara. I remember there was one from Maybelline. It was like a Colosso one. And I remember Manny MUA did a commercial with them that was really popular. What else? I don't know. Do you guys remember mascara that was super popular in like 2015 that all the YouTubers are talking about? But I did use my mascara. It's from Queen, I believe, and it is called Dragon Lash. That's the mascara I used. Okay, for lips, when I was going through my stuff, I'm trying to think, like trying to remember what was really used for lip liner. And the only thing I could think of is the Wet n Wild gel lip liners. These are still available. I don't know if they came out in like 2015 or 16, maybe. Can't really remember, but I do know a lot of people are talking about these, saying how good they are, and they are really good creamy lip liners. This one is in the shade Bear to Comment, so it's kind of a pinky nude. Like, these are so creamy, it's like you could use them as like a lipstick, but they do move around. I wouldn't say they're super long lasting. And for lipstick, I'm going to use my ColourPop Alyssa. This was a collab with Kathleen Lights, and when this collab came out, it was before I started watching her, and I remember I found it, they were still being sold in ColourPop's website, and I believe this is a satin formula, but I know liquid lipsticks, the mattest of the matte, were super popular, and I know there was a lot of brands like Dose of Colors, the Stone shade was super popular. Kylie Jenner lip kits were super popular. I don't own any of those. MAC lipsticks were really popular. So I'm just going to use this. I don't know if this shade really goes with my eye look, but we'll just go with it. It's a little more pink and milky. I don't know. It reminds me of definitely like the early 2000s look. But yeah, that is it. This is me using my OG like YouTube makeup products that everyone was talking about. I think it's kind of fun to do. If you have a YouTube channel, I think it would be fun to get your take on it and the products that, you know, inspired you to buy from YouTube, the YouTube world, the YouTube culture, because it was interesting watching Emily Noel's video, because the products she used, like, oh yeah, I remember that, but she had a different take. I'm sure people would use like the Urban Decay Naked palettes, or I don't know. And it's kind of neat because we all kind of started watching YouTube and, you know, different time period. But I know like 2015 and 2016 YouTube beauty community was huge. But that is it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love for you to like and subscribe. Definitely leave down below your, you know, products that you bought from OG YouTube. Okay, guys, I will see you all later. Bye.